All right.
All right, we're joined now by Carl Norloff of S&H Green Stamps. Looks like we're going to be bringing back a little bit of the past to the present here and hopefully continue it into the future. How you doing today, Carl?
I'm doing great.
How's St.
Glad to
George,
be here.
Utah these days?
Nice and hot.
Oh, I bet. At least it's a dry hot down there
It's a
compared
dry,
to,
it is a dry heat.
when I just got back from Route 66, I had to push pause because from June 5th to July 2nd, I was doing county by county. Well, actually, June 1st, county by county, one day. Starting June 5th, it rained every day, between 2 and 7 inches, between 3 and 6 in the morning, and then it was 90 degrees by 10 o'clock. So the humidity was
Oh,
worse than Florida, and that sort of thing. So we pushed a little bit of pause, and we're getting caught up on some of the content now and getting some stories together, and then we're gonna start up again in Miami, which we went through there already on the way to Tulsa, but that's kind of where we said, you know what, Kansas, okay, we did that, and was it 30 counties or something like that already? Just ridiculous amounts. But
wow.
yeah, and you know this, you could spend a week in a county and not hit everything on Route 66. There's so many things going on, and now you're looking at bringing back more of a reason for people to really engage with Route 66. And I'm glad you're doing this because I'll tell you right out of the gate here, probably the number one concern I heard from people and businesses along Route 66 was the small businesses. How
Oh, yeah.
they need some assistance more than ever right now. And we have all these new art projects up and murals up and new
Mhm.
businesses and all kinds of excitement and centennial money being spent and everything. And all these small businesses are like, hey, hey, look at me, look at me. So talk to me a little bit about S&H here. What's going on?
Well, just a little history lesson.
Oh, yeah.
SNH started in 1896, and it became one of the most popular rewards programs on the planet. It was more than a rewards program, though. It was more of a cultural phenomena. By the 50s and 60s, 30 million families collected stamps from over 90,000 businesses, and they redeemed those stamps for over $10 billion in merchandise. It was a big deal, and everybody was involved. It was you had sports figures, you had celebrities. I mean, everybody had their hands somehow in S&H Green Stamps. It's an amazing program, and it was just part of every community. But what drew me to the idea of S&H Green Stamps was the fact that it's more than just a rewards program. It was more of a community connector. It was all about families sitting around the table, licking and sticking those stamps in a book. And the way it worked was when you shopped at a grocery store, a gas station, or whatever business, you got 10 stamps per dollar. You went home, you licked them, and you put them in a book. And when the book filled up, 1,200 stamps, you could go into the catalog called the Idea Book, and you can redeem them for just about anything. I mean, people bought gorillas for a bunch of kids in Pennsylvania, the school district got together and they pooled 5 million stamps to buy two gorillas for the zoo. So some amazing stories, and we still hear them today. I mean, every day it seems we get an email from somebody about what they got with their green stamps when they were a child. But
What kind of things are in this catalog if you can get a gorilla?
well, back in the day, they were actually a currency. They had a cash value, and
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't know that.
yeah, people bought cars. They bought, whoever was able to, sell, merchandise, they could take green stamps for them. It
Was
was
this
kind of
kind of
like,
the first was this the first one of those programs because you had the box tops and I think even there's I would even say that the 5% back on credit cards is based on this whole S&H green stamp thing, isn't it?
it was the innovator, very first one and the
Yeah.
most popular. I mean, there were gold bond, there were blue stamps, blue chip stamps. There was a
Yeah.
whole bunch of competitors, but nobody even compared to the success of what green stamps, did. So it was quite the amazing program.
So what brought this back then?
So in 2000, I was hired to create the technology. I'm a tech guy, and I was hired by the great grandson of the founder of S&H, the Sperry family. S&H stood for Sperry and Hutchinson. And we relaunched S&H Green Stamps as S&H Green Points. And we introduced that to the community, and we grew to 8 million consumers in just a handful of months. and and it was wildly successful. The launch was, and then we were acquired by a company that went bankrupt after a year. The technology that they had, and the reason why we went into the acquisition was that they had an innovative technology for supermarkets in the in lane. So when you checked out, they had a technology that we didn't have. So they acquired us, and because of poor management, they disappeared after a year. So S&H went away again. So of course, I was disappointed because I just love the concept and the idea. So I was building something for small bit. My wife is a small business owner, so I have a real affinity for small businesses and how hard it is for a small business. I mean, it's a challenge. It's a passion play for the most part. Most small business owners aren't in it to make billions. They love what they do, but they need help. So I made it my mission to create something to help small businesses. So I was working on something, and then I thought, I wonder what's going on with green stamps, and I was able to acquire it. And so we spent a couple of years building the platform. We actually wrapped an RV, and we traversed the country 3 times, a good portion of Route 66, and to see what businesses thought about it. We met with hundreds of businesses and tons of people, and everyone had the same reaction. Oh my God, they're coming back, and so that gave us some good insight into how the communities would respond to bringing this brand back. So we built a platform, but we did it a little bit different. What we wanted to do is we just didn't want a small business, especially because any additional time and money is a burden. So we wanted to create something that was simple, but we also wanted to create something that a small business just didn't give handout stamps. We wanted them to get rewarded as well as local causes. So we created a platform that creates a flow from consumer to business to local cause. So everything that we do on the platform is more than just giving stamps. We provide all kinds of features that enable a small business to connect and engage with their community. So a shopper gets rewarded for shopping local, the business gets rewarded for engaging with that consumer, and every transaction, a portion goes to a local cause that the business supports. So it's a little bit different from the original model, but the legacy aspect of it, the nostalgia, is still there, right? It's all about the business.
So what does it do now then? Because is it primarily for Route 66? Is it for businesses all over the United States
It's for any
participating?
Yeah, it's for any community, for any business. So we're community focused. We're launching across the country, but we decided to focus our launch on Route 66. And we partnered with the Road Ahead partnership. We teamed up with them. For every business that joins, we're giving away a free year, so they can try the program out. And every business that does eventually join benefits the Route 66 Road Ahead partnership.
So how would that work? Let's say I have a business. Well, actually, I do have a business, but I'm not really quite sure how my business, a small little media company, could participate in this. Is it mostly retail? Is it services? Is it a
Anybody,
car wash or what is it?
anybody that has a customer.
No
And
kidding.
and that's what makes it unique in that if I had a small, low volume boutique, a loyalty program doesn't make sense, right? You may have a customer that might circle through every few months, if that, right? So a loyalty program for them just doesn't do much.
Well,
But if they were
especially on Route 66, they're just doing it one shot. You know what I mean? So to get them to
exactly
repeat again, you might have to wait 5 years.
right. So the reality is that if you're part of it, the S&H program is a coalition program, which means businesses work together to reward their customers and the community. So the fact that I'm a low volume retailer doesn't matter because I'm part of a network. So I can earn stamps anywhere as a consumer.
Sure.
So I can go to that little shop. I can go to, the high volume coffee shop or whatever. So everyone has a slice of the pie in terms of consumer exposure. And some of the features that we have that are above and beyond just the rewards allows a small business, a small mom and pop, to reach out to thousands of people and get their attention.
And
So
is this for mom and pops only? Is it for nonprofits? Is it for corporations? Who can? Is there? What's the criteria? I guess.
anybody, the big thing is for this model to work successfully, because what we're doing is we're leveraging the consumer and we're leveraging the local cause to support the local business. And we do that by rewarding each of them. So anybody can join. A corporation could use it to reward their salespeople as a sales bonus. They could give stamps if they want, but our focus is to help the mom and pops because Main Street is so important and shop local is so important to us. I mean, supporting a big brand, big box store, it doesn't really fit our model much. I mean, they all have their own rewards programs anyway.
Yeah.
If you go to a Kohl's or one of the big box stores.
But they also have the staff that can apply for it and go through all the different hoops and everything else. And I don't know what your hoops and your applies are or anything like that, but that small businesses, they're so busy. They can barely think what's for dinner at the end of the day, let alone trying to incorporate a new program into their system. Whereas, hey, McDonald's, hey, what are you doing today? Nothing. Okay, get off the internet and go, get off social media and go help. The Route 66 McDonald's is along the route or something like that. I can see where this would be a tightrope. This would be a very very kind of very good for businesses, but trying to get them out there to do it. That's why the first year is so important. I would think that free.
Well, that's why we're doing the first year free, because here's why. You can implement, there's no tech, there's no point of sale integration. Basically what happens, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, it might blur it out. But a business gets a card, and this card has an NFC chip in it. And when a customer comes in the store, they tap their phone to the card and they get stamps.
Is that a plastic card?
It's like a credit card, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that is, it can be set up in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. There's no tech involved, no training. So basically we send a starter kit with the cards, a window cling, a poster, and some customer takeaways. And that's pretty much it for a mom and pop. And we made it extremely simple because we do realize they don't have the time, the budget, or the expertise to really make or sustain anything because they're busy running their business. So our priority was, it's got to be easy. It's got to be simple, no time, no tech, and that's key.
Is this something they sign up for online? Do they call a number?
What they do is they go to mygreenstamps.com and they create an account and they check either business or cause. We will reach out to them to learn about their business, see how the fit is. And then we get them, we point them to set up their directory, their community directory listing, and that's it. It takes 15 minutes and they're in. And then we send the starter kit out. And once they get that, they can start, engaging with their customers. I mean, it's really their loyalty program powered by S&H Green Stamps. So the more they do, the more access they have to things. So it just depends on how much they could just give stamps. That's all they have to do. But we have a promotion engine with customer insights. We have challenges. We have referrals. We have a referral system that, as a small business, you might belong to a networking group, right? Like a BNI or a chamber, and you might refer customers to a business, but nothing comes back to you. Our referral system allows a business to create their own referral network of other businesses they know and trust, and it shows up in their directory as a partner. And when a consumer clicks on that partner and shops there, everybody earns stamps. So we're always encouraging people to come into your business and engage. So, but you're absolutely correct. We wouldn't be able to do this if this was a complicated situation. It's got to be simple and it's got to work. So
and that a lot of the small business owners, there's a term called analysis by paralysis or paralysis from analysis. I call it sitting in a corner, rocking back and forth in the fetal position, just trying to get the day going by. And that's one of the issues of small businesses where they're afraid to try something new. That's where I would think the nostalgia on this would help kind of satisfy some of those fears of trying something new and look at it as, boy, okay, this could really help me. So if somebody is going to go ahead and do this and somebody comes in and spends $100 on, whatever, it's a restaurant, do they get 100 stamps? Do they get 10 stamps? I guess if somebody spends $100 at a business that's into your program, just describe where that $100 goes and how that helps the business and your platform and everything else?
Well, a little bit different from the back in the day. Back in the day, you got 10 stamps per dollar spent at the store. That would require us to do an integration with a point of sale system, which means tech on the counter, tech integration, too complicated for a small business. So basically, when you shop, you tap your card, you get 100 stamps. Done. Everyone gets the same amount. The store can decide you have to spend over $5, $10, $25 to tap the card. That's up to them. But we didn't want someone to go out and buy a $25,000 car and get 200,000 stamps. That would just
Yeah.
it's not fair for the mom and pop, so, or for the typical consumer. So we made it an even playing field. You tap, you get 100 stamps, and then you save them up. You go online to our idea book and you buy stuff.
And what's in the idea book, just to give people just a little bit of a sample what they're looking at?
We're going to replicate the original in terms of categories of products of the original idea book, and it spans everything from household items, outdoor items, furniture, dishes, you name it. It'll be in the catalog. We're hoping to carry about 1,600 items
Hmm.
across each of the different categories, but focus mostly on things that people need. Toasters and blenders and dishes and sheets for the bed. Stuff that you normally wouldn't see in a rewards program.
Sure. And I was going to ask you too, is there any plans to bring in modern day Andy Warhol into the fold? I know he was very popular for incorporating the green stamps into some of his pop culture painting. That's actually probably how I knew about it originally, now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm a Gen Xer, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
green stamp, we were more box tops than green stamps, if that makes sense. I'm a
yeah.
box top generation kid, so I get the concept and how it works and everything. But you got any plans to do anything like that? Bring in, a modern day artist to help out?
Well, we're open to anything that we can do to get the word out. And it's interesting, in terms of the history of S&H, in terms of, you mentioned Andy Warhol, the S&H green stamp painting from Andy Warhol was one of his first types of paintings like that.
Yeah.
And I forget the name of the gallery that he launched it in, but you've got Andy Warhol, you've got the uh, Courtney Cox of the Friends fame. Her mother bought her a piano to get started playing the piano with green stamps. There's so many stories. The Brady Bunch had a whole episode on green stamps.
Hmm.
So I mean, but to your point, anything we could do to get the word out. I mean, we have a couple things we're working on now, art wise, that will launch as T-shirts. But yeah, it would be great to have a modern day Andy Warhol step in, and
Yeah, and I don't know who that would be or
I
if
don't either.
anybody could even afford it nowadays. I mean, with the way that people are charging for influencers, it seems a little bit outrageous. Have you seen some of those influencer prices that they have during the Super Bowl and some of those other things? They get like six
Oh yeah.
hundred thousand dollars for two posts. It's like, whoa, boy, that's
Yeah, yeah. I talked to an influencer, and she charges $60,000 to include your brand in one of her blog posts. Like, sorry.
it's remarkable to get it. It really
Yeah.
is. And I would imagine probably about 40 of that goes into marketing within their own deal that I've been thinking, because I read a study a while ago, and they studied all the successful influencers, and they said to make $100,000 you need to spend 80.
Hmm.
And but then it starts going down incrementally
Right.
as you get bigger. So like when you're up to 200,000, you only need to spend 150,000. So then, and it just slowly goes down and down and down. So that's a little bit of a scale issue. But do you have a website? What's the website?
We do. The website is mygreenstamps.com.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
And yeah, you already search on Google, it pops up. But yeah, visit the website, create a free account. You can bop around and check things out. But But, it's all about, when you talk about influencers have a value, it's all about eyeballs, right? I mean, if it's so hard from a social perspective to get millions of eyeballs on something. And if you do, that's worth a lot of money, So it's, one of our challenges is just that, getting the word out. Like I said, when we launched Green Points, we hit 8 million consumers in a matter of months logged
Hmm.
into our created accounts on our site. And so the growth was just incredible. So I'm hoping that we can generate that same kind of viral, um, growth just by getting the word out. And we're just starting, but we've got thousands of consumers across the country right now, and but we're working on businesses, and our focus, like I said, is Route 66.
How's the relationship with the Road Ahead partnership fold into this?
Um, I talked to Bill Thomas, who's the chair of that organization, and he's a real fan of S&H Green Stamps, and as most folks are, the fond memories. And we wanted to do something that we could give back to Route 66 communities. And what we're doing is we're donating a portion of every sale to the Road Ahead partnership. So for every business that comes on board, a good portion, a very good portion of that money or that cost or the subscription that the business pays goes to the Road Ahead to support their grants and things that they do for Route 66. So my goal here is to help promote Route 66 and support, because I understand the challenge small businesses have, especially on Route 66, where travel is seasonal and it gets tough. So we're hoping that we could kind of just jumpstart an ongoing relationship to support not just the businesses but the communities as well.
This is going to be an odd question, but given it's Route 66, I think it'll make sense to some. Is this a global thing? So many of Route 66 travelers are from foreign countries, and with the internet and everything, no problem. With the U.S. mail, maybe a little different. Maybe kind of hard to ship, a couple gorillas to Australia versus, nowadays. So I'm not really quite sure. But with all the foreign travelers, how does that fold into this?
Well, I mean, our focus is the U.S.,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that a foreign traveler couldn't create an account, earn stamps along Route 66 or anywhere that they travel in the U.S. and redeem them while they're here. And the other option is potentially buying a gift card online, an Amazon gift card or something like that that they could take home and use.
And are those purchases available on your website, I guess?
Not currently.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't have
So
any big box gift cards yet, but
not yet. Okay. And then what's the difference between the businesses and the causes, I guess? What would be the main there's so many there's so many blurring of the lines nowadays, and what's a small business service and what's a nonprofit service, that is there a distinction between the two?
well, there is. I mean, the local cause is a recipient. It's kind of a subtle, layer of fundraising that we do with the local causes. So, for instance, I'm Joe's Pizza, and I support the boys' little league team. They buy the jerseys with my name on the back. So I'm attached to them as a business that supports that little league team. So anytime I do a promotion, a referral, or a challenge, a portion of stamps goes to that little league team that they could use to redeem for items in the catalog that they could either auction off or do whatever with, to raise money. Could be the pet shelter, the homeless, food pantry, the PTA at the school. I know, the town that I lived in Massachusetts, we had the lacrosse parents, the football parents, the band parents. They're all looking for money. And one of the things that we heard when we talked to small businesses that, the town I lived in, we had 30 businesses downtown, and just about every single cause hit them up for donations all the time. And I had one business saying, I gave out more in donations this month than I actually made. So I thought, well, how could we fix that? Well, let's funnel a portion of all the stamps that flow through our system to those local causes so that they could redeem. They all do auctions, they do their yearly auctions, so they can acquire things for their auction. So there is a distinction, but a local cause doesn't have to do anything. They just sign up on the site, and that's it, and connect us
So,
to a business.
so in that example, would it be the baseball team or Joe's Pizza that signed up?
The baseball team.
Okay, so the baseball team would, and they would be connected to Joe's Pizza through a referral program or something like
Yeah,
that, or?
Joe's Pizza has access. They have a tab we have a simple dashboard that a business goes to, and one of them is causes. So,
Okay.
so the little league team would sign up. Then Joe's would go to the cause page, select Joe's Pizza, or little league team, and
Yep.
it would show up in any promotions he does or any referrals or challenges. So they're
So it can be
always visible.
coordinated or just kind of, hey, I'm going to help this random cause here that I seem to like the name of or something like that. I'm a big pet guy, so
Yeah, me too.
anytime we can give out some assistance or resources to bettering the lives of pets, I'm usually pretty much a sucker for that. So
Yeah, aren't we all? But yeah, that's the idea, is to give a local cause another avenue for fundraising without it becoming a burden to the small business.
yeah, I was going to say pretty soon. I mean, we should have one for just small business. A lot of them are almost near nonprofits. They need a little assistance in a cause every now and then. So
Exactly.
you
Well,
know,
that's our hope, is to be able to rally the community to support local, and everybody gets rewarded as a result. And as our catalog grows and becomes more meaningful, getting stamps is nice. It's getting the reward that's even better.
yeah.
So we're working on the catalog and trying to figure out the best way to get some really good things in there that people can redeem for, and not redeem for 500 million stamps. We want them to be able to redeem things quick. You know,
And what's the next step for you then on terms of, are you going to travel Route 66? Are you what's the I guess connection
yeah,
with Route 60? How many businesses are there right now? Is it still kind of in its infant stage, or?
we're just starting. We're starting in Springfield, Illinois. We will be on Route 66 at the end of the summer,
Okay.
traveling and meeting all the businesses. And we have a program going on right now. It's called Champions of Route 66. And the idea is that we let people know that they can go on the site and go to the Champions page and nominate their favorite Route 66 businesses. And we'll take those nominations and we will contact the business and see if we can get them signed up for a year free.
Okay. All
So,
right.
so we're running that right now. So the goal is to run the champion effort, the project, get people to nominate their favorite businesses, onboard those businesses that are nominated, and then we have another project coming up called Challenges, where we're challenging people that are traveling Route 66 to visit those businesses, and they earn a bunch of stamps. We have sponsors and prizes. So we're trying to gamify the whole Route 66 experience to get people to one, learn about all these stores or businesses that are out there. And we're not looking at, I mean, you've got the mainstays that everyone knows about on Route 66, but then you've got these quirky little places, that are off the beaten path that people should know more about. So that's kind of the idea, is to really illustrate, what's on Route 66 and and have people rewarded for it.
Oh, I think one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was spending one day per county along Route 66 and really take in the county, and a lot of rain too. So when it rains, you got to, call an audible and a few other things. But my thing with Route 66 is there's only so many restaurants you can do. And
Right.
so, most counties or cities, they've got a lot of restaurants. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you can only pick one or two, and then you got to keep moving on. And then there's the museums. And so if you go to any museum, and personally, in order to get anything out of a museum, I at least got to budget 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
And most of the people on Route 66, they might do 20 minutes, take some pictures, take video, maybe check them out later, maybe not. But it's kind of a quick tour of a museum a lot of times. And so
Right.
being able to spend an hour or two or three in a museum has really been beneficial, in my opinion, because then I can actually absorb it and learn from it instead of just checking a box, if you will. And a
Right.
lot of Route 66 is checking boxes. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's something to be said about sense of accomplishment and completing goals and just moving ahead forward and that sort of thing. Uh, you mentioned the different categories and some of the different elements that are into this and challenges. What are some of your biggest challenges, do you think, just for this? Is it just getting the word out? Or, oh, geez, what was that? Okay, sorry, I got
Have
studio's
that
falling
removed.
apart here.
Our biggest challenge is one, getting the word out, and two, having a small. And you hit the nail on the head when we first started. Small businesses, they're busy running their business. They don't have the time. So getting their attention and also getting them to understand that it's not just a rewards program, because 9 out of 10 small businesses don't understand in their instance what a reward system can do for them, right? So getting them to understand that it's not just about handing out stamps, it's about the exposure we provide. It's about the ability to see thousands of people that you never would ever see on your own. So educating a small business, just understanding what a rewards program like S&H, because S&H is unique. There's nothing in the US like it. And in terms of how we do things and the value and the nostalgia, obviously. But it's getting the word out. And businesses drive, I mean, consumers are easy because there's 27 green stampers out there that finally remember the brand, and they're excited by it coming back. So that's an easy, come on and join the site. But it's the small businesses that really drive the meaningful consumer, because we have a pet store that has 6,000 customers. So, getting those 6,000, or a good portion of those on board and engaging and earning rewards is easy. But if it doesn't help if you have 10 million consumers and no place to earn stamps.
Yeah.
So the businesses are critical, and just getting the word out and getting them to understand that there's a lot under under the hood here that can help them.
Well, I think by reaching out to different individuals, whether it be myself or the Road Ahead Partnership and others, is the way to really, slow and steady wins the race. Short-term gain equals long-term pain. And there is an issue right now, and I heard it firsthand in every state I was in, of trust. A lot of people are just very leery of new things and new people, and I experienced it firsthand. I mean, I can tell you, I could probably do about 10 stories on bait and switch, from hotels that when you book a room, you go there and pretty soon they're charging you double, and they'll give you some excuse that, well, that's the franchise and we're different. They start giving you the mumbo jumbo type thing. And I come from the old school of the customer's somewhat right, not
Hmm.
not always right, but at least somewhat right. And you try to do
Right.
customer service. And then, even, this is a true story. I actually went into a business, ordered the thing that was on their sign outside, and it came in double the price. And when I questioned it, they kind of shamed me and said, "Oh yeah, we forgot to take that down." And that was the end of it. That was, so I had to pay because I had already purchased it, and
Right.
and I was like, okay, that's it for me, man. No more of this bait and switch. I'm calling a line on this. And I was just shocked. I was really shocked at how rampant it was. And when I was talking to other travelers and some other businesses, they were citing the same issues. So I think something like this is going to help, especially on the trust factor, because, as I mentioned, there is a little bit of a trust issue happening right now.
Well, that's
And that goes
interesting.
well beyond Route 66. This is more of an American issue, I think, than an
Yeah, yeah, I
economy
agree.
issue. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, that's interesting, in terms of trust. One thing that we do though is we do a lot of vetting, and before we bring a business on, and that's one thing good, social is good for. You can kind of dig into a business and see, uh, who they are.
Yeah.
That's why we don't allow a business just to go in and join and create their directory, which is really their hub, because we want to talk to them. We want to understand what their challenges are, how we can help, how things that how we work and what our mission is, and see how our missions align. So, but
What
that's interesting.
Yeah, what kind of timeline is something like this? Let's say a business signs up online, they have to wait for an approval process. You do some vetting, you might reach out to them, whatever the case is. From in the business owner entering their information to you hitting the approval button, what kind of timeline or turnaround do you think somebody can expect?
So what we have is when a business creates an account, they check business. It goes into a list of uh, it's a lead list. Just it's businesses that are interested in learning more. They get a call immediately, and we start the conversation. Then if things align, then we point them to the page that we give them access to the directory or the member dashboard so they can set up their directory. Once we see the directory is done and we approve it, then the starter kit goes out. So it takes about it depending on the business how long it takes them to do it because they can go back and finish it, but 15 minutes and then the kit goes out. So it's all predicated on that phone call.
Okay.
So it can take, a day, it can take a week. It just depends on the business.
Sure, sure. Okay.
And
And
that's one of the things, I was telling you about the champion module
mhm,
or program that we have, the campaigns, the champion campaigns. Um, the whole idea there is that people are nominating businesses that they want to see, that they know and they trust, that they want to see give green stamps. And that generates our list, our lead list, that we can then reach out and talk to the business and say, hey, 100 customers wanted to see you give green stamps. And so it's kind of a self-vetting thing. We're actually getting feedback from customers that say, hey, this is a good business.
sure. And what kind of response are you getting so far from individuals? Is somebody like Joe's Pizza, is that a real business, or is that just kind of a example?
That was an example, but we do have in Springfield, Illinois, where we're actually starting. We've got Whimsy Tea Company. We've got the Studio on Sixth.
Okay.
We've got uh, Mr. Twist Ice Cream and Sherbet. That's a popular one on Route 66. They just joined. We've got some in the queue, but we're just starting, and we're hoping to bring on 500 more businesses this year on Route 66.
Have you driven Route 66 in the past?
I have, like I said, we wrapped an RV before I even thought about making this real. I wrapped an RV, fifth wheel, with green stamps. A green stamp. We're coming back. We partnered with, I don't know if you remember Stuckey's.
Oh yeah.
Um, uh, so we included Stuckey's. Stephanie Stuckey was starting around the same time we were starting. She's got a lot further along than we have, but anyway, we wrapped an RV with that, and we drove back and forth 3 times across the country, and we hit parts of Route 66, and always been a fan, and
Have
so
you been to Springfield before?
no, we're going to actually be out there. That's the place we're starting.
Okay. No, I
Yeah,
mean in the past that like this is your first time in Springfield?
yeah,
Okay.
Springfield, yeah,
There's a restaurant called the Cozy Dog. Are you familiar with that?
yeah, yeah,
So I'm not a big corn dog guy. And I mean, they're fine and everything, but I just don't, it's not like I go out of my way to ever get one.
right,
But I
same
did,
here.
but I did for this just because, everybody had been talking about it. And I'm trying to do some Americana type things. And I got to tell you, it is worth it. It is like a flavor you've never had in a corn dog. I was so surprised
No
that I'm
kidding.
actually telling you about it. Like
Well, that's
that
well,
is a real testimonial right
there,
there.
there you go. Right, they're actually on our list. We've reached out to them. We have not heard back, and that again, getting their attention has been hard for us. So we're keeping our fingers crossed on, just getting the word out. The Route 66 caravan that just went through um, all of Route 66. They were handing out our flyers,
Oh,
announcing the partnership with the Road Ahead, and there's also the Bunyan Run coming up, the Bunyan Derby. There's an endurance runner that's running the whole length of Route 66, starting in Chicago, and we're sponsoring him. But I don't know if you're familiar with the Bunyan Derby. You ever heard of that?
Paul Bunyan, Bunyan on your foot. What? I mean,
In 1928, there was a promoter who sports promoter that sponsored a race from Chicago to California, and an endurance race. And I think I forget how many runners signed up from all over the world. And they ran the entire Route 1928, Route 66 just opened. It was new. They ran the entire stretch, and an Oklahoma gentleman won it, won $25,000 in 1928. So it was just
How many
so.
days did that take?
Uh, Gosh, I know Zach, the runner, now is doing. He's starting August 4th and he's finishing November 11th. He's actually doing a marathon every day. That's how
Yeah,
much he's running. Can you imagine?
that's what it would be. And I interviewed Rory Perlow outside of Chicago, suburb up there, Highland Park, I think, and he was biking it. He's
Yeah.
biking the whole thing, and I thought he would take forever, but last time I talked to him, he was ahead of his schedule actually, but he hadn't hit New Mexico yet when the incline starts, once that
Yeah.
incline starts. I mean, I used to have a Suzuki Samurai 4-speed and that barely made it up that hill. I can't imagine a 10-speed bike.
I ran a marathon in my younger years, and I vowed never ever to run again after that. My feet hurt so bad. Can you imagine doing that every day? Holy cow.
I am in the same boat as you. I ran the Bismarck Marathon in 1997, and as soon as I was done, I said I will never do that again. And I was such an idiot. I got in my car and drove back to Fargo. I could not voluntarily move my legs for 2 weeks because they
Yeah.
were the atrophy from not stretching after the 26 miles or whatever the heck it was. Oh my word, that was, like I said, it was one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life that I'm glad I did.
Well, funny story. My roommate at the time, living in California, and she was a runner and she was running the marathon. So she said, "Well, why don't you?" And I'm not a runner, right? She says, "Why don't you come out and train with me? We'll run a mile every day or so, and do the marathon." So I said, "Well, all right, I'll have to give it a shot." So we ran every day, and the day of the marathon or the night before, you carb up, I guess, and eat all the spaghetti and pasta you can. And then in the morning, she said, all you can have is a piece of toast. I said, I'm going to run 26 miles on a piece of toast. There's no way. So no, no, you have to have a piece of toast. So I had my toast. We get to the marathon and we're running on a street where there were some stores. And all of a sudden I smelled cinnamon rolls.
Oh.
And boy, they smell good. So I ran
Mhm.
in, I got a cup of coffee and a cinnamon roll to go. And I'm running in a bathing suit and Walmart sneakers or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a runner, right? So I'm running with my coffee and my cinnamon roll, and these professional runners are running by me. They're screaming at me. They're mad at me. You're gonna
Oh yeah.
die. Well, I didn't die, but I was on the road for 8 hours. I was determined to finish, but I came in right after the guy with one leg, and I
Sounds
made it.
about right. Sounds about
Made it.
right. Yeah, that's
Yeah, they had buses going around picking people up, and I said, "No, I'm finishing." My roommate would not let me live it down if I didn't finish, so I finished.
Did you stop and have lunch along the way too?
I didn't stop and have lunch.
Okay,
No.
eight hours. I wasn't sure if you got hungry,
Yeah, I
around
mean,
that around that
I,
noon time.
if I passed a burger place or something, I probably would have, but I
Oh,
didn't. Unfortunately, it was just that one stretch where there were some stores.
some poor family grilling brats in the backyard, and there you are jumping the fence, grabbing a brat. Yep.
Coming out of the bushes, grabbing them. Some guys just, they pull off in the bushes, go to the bathroom. I just pull off and grab a burger.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Teach their own. You know what I mean? Teach their own. So, well, let's wrap her up here and find out how we can get you some more stamp business and people some business along Route 66. So we'll just kind of do a little bit of a recap here. What you want people to remember? What do you want people to do? Give them a call to action, if you will. All that good stuff.
Great. Well, what we want is, for people to do is to, visit mygreenstamps.com, create an account, spread the word, tell everybody and try to create a viral response, to get the word out. The main thing is we want businesses to know is that, yes, this is considered new, but it's old, right? I mean, we've been there, we've done that. We have a proven history. Even with Green Points, we've proven that, we can generate business, create visibility, create a sense of community and connecting businesses and other businesses and people and local causes. So it's a community thing. We're neighborhoodly, but we want people to know that it's a community working together. So the more people can join us, the more they can spread the word with their favorite businesses using our champion feature. That would be awesome.
And as you get those businesses in, feel free to let us know or send us a email or press release, however you do it. We'll, of course, get it out to our network too. We're slowly building ours as well because we kind of January 1st, but I've got a couple other brands that we're, using that distribution as our leverage, if you will. And in fact, I just lost Paramount Plus. I had Paramount Plus as one of my clients, if you will. And they just got bought out by HBO Max. So July 10th, all of us influencers ended our agreements because now we got to get vetted again through HBO Max.
Oh boy.
Yeah, new owners, you know what I mean? And so it was a straight old, all right, reset across the board. And I figured that was going to happen, the streaming wars and all that different stuff. And it's weird how that works too, by the way, on some of those, because you can see, you're doing well. And I had My Pillow as one of them too for a while. That one did really well, by the way. I was surprised. The most polarizing pillow on the planet. And this is a true story. Okay, so we in this other podcast I have, it was oil and gas, and we were non-political, and we went extra miles to be non-political. Like if anybody would talk politics, I'd hit mute on them, right? And so. Here we get this national ad agency reaching out to us because we had the largest audience for this sector, and I thought, why couldn't it be Kraft cheese? Why did it have to be the most polarizing pillow on the planet? Because for me it was just about, all right, this was the next milestone, and it was great and everything, but. So anyway, I think they're great. Now, are you accepting influencers, by the way? I mean, like people to help out and that sort of thing. I mean,
not yet. As we talked earlier, it's the cost.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you pay them or anything like that, but
well, if there's any influencers,
ones who want to get behind the cause, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, we'd welcome any influencer that would want to spread the word for us and let people know what we're doing. And
well, as I mentioned, I'm a trained journalist, so if you want to send us a news release, we'll treat it as news. Now they call that influencers. I still call it old school media and just being, an ethical news person, because there's people like information, and right. they really like accurate information and truthful information. That's the one thing they really like. So this is fantastic. Well, I wish you luck on it, and I keep us posted on it. S&H Green Stamps. The website, mygreenstamps.com. Back at it, the Road Ahead Partnership as well. And final words, final thoughts, anything you want to leave with?
Just appreciate your time. I love talking to people about what we're doing, and appreciate you wanting to do this. And so thank you. And we're excited. We're excited to carry on the legacy of Green Stamps, and we want to grow fast.